What's up, everybody? Well, on a podcast now, I'm Alex. In this video, it's time that I join the ranks and talk about this stop killing games. Everybody's talking about it, as honestly they should. We have a countdown, so, everybody's going to have to do it eventually. This thing ends, I believe, the last day of July to do this signature. Now, this might not impact you. Say, well, maybe I'm not a citizen or this or that. Well, if say in the U.S. over here, right? The thing to me is that if we can just get this through the door, or if they can just get this through the door, however you want to say it, this could absolutely lead to ramifications for game companies across the world. How easy would it be for one of these governments to look at that government and say, hey, we could do something like that, or even just have game developers say, well, look, if we have to be transparent, if we actually have to do honest things, then maybe we can do that across the world and not just in the UK. So simply, if you haven't heard of this before, it's simply something to kind of just be a little bit more transparent, and that's really all it is. It's just an idea, and it would have to be debated in Parliament. Can we just make language a little bit more clear for games? Okay, it doesn't guarantee anything. We're not guaranteed like, oh, all of a sudden now live service games have to last forever. And as people have been bringing up in all sorts of videos, something like that doesn't even need to happen if you can simply just make the language more clear, right? I watched Mr. Matty Play's video yesterday. He brought up a comment from a game developer talking about simply switching the language from buy to subscribe. And if you have all of these games, right? All these games that can eventually be taken offline. And if you see buy now, right? Everything's buy. You're always buying something, right? But really, if it's something that can just be taken away from you with a blink of an eye, a snap of a finger, and you could get notice ahead of time, you might not get notice ahead of time. If they can take it away from you in a second, aren't you then really subscribing to it for pretty much anything? And you could maybe even argue some physical games nowadays, but definitely digital, right? Whenever you click on buy now, you're really renting it. You're renting the IP, you're renting the property, you're renting you're renting the code for it. And Ubisoft actually kind of said that during that Crew lawsuit that they were in, right? Where it's like you know what you're doing. You should know what you're doing, and a lot of people don't. You are really like borrowing, renting, however you want to say it. You do not own the Crew. You're renting the Crew. You're being allowed to rent that property from Ubisoft. Now, it sounds very scummy, and the thing is, we can either go all the way to change that. Now, I would love that. Okay, to be honest, I've seen a lot of people try to say, well, this is fine. And I even said this in the beginning of the video. Like, if all we get out of this is something kind of minor, but it moves the needle a little bit, whatever. I think we should shoot for like the most drastic of changes and then kind of settle. It's a negotiation, right? So studios or publishers, whatever, they want us to never own anything. All right, so if they want to go all the way that severe, why can't we as consumers protecting our right? It's our money, it's our time, it's our interests, right? We're doing the best for our own interests. If they want to do the best for their own interest, that's fine. They say, okay, well, you never own a game. Well, how about we go to the complete other side? And this is why, even the argument of, maybe it's a little too drastic to say, hey, games can never be taken down. You know what? Shoot for it. Now, that's not really what this Stop Killing Games thing is, right? Again, this is really, hey, let's just get a foot in the door. Let's just kind of start the conversation. Let's get the government involved. And look, I'm not a big fan of the government really telling anybody anything to do, okay? But something has to change. Like, literally, and this is the situation. It's like, well, what are you supposed to do? I guess the only thing you do is you put your foot down and you do what you can do, minute to minute, and you buy games that you want to support. You don't buy games you don't want to support. But ultimately, it doesn't really seem to be changing anything. In fact, it's getting worse. Collector's editions are coming out without physical. When you buy a collector's edition, $200, $300, $400, the physical freaking game isn't even in that collector's edition, right? It's all digital. Again, you're really only renting it. You have all of these live service games, and I've talked about even ones I like, even one like Knockout City, which I think is actually a really good game. Lasted 2 years, and I bought it. It lasted 2 years, and it's just gone. That's money, just and so it's like, all right, again, the buy now versus subscribing, cool. I think for an okay amount of people, that would wake you up, right? If you're going to buy the newest Crew game and it says subscribe, I think that would really give people pause. And I know, like myself personally, like I'm not doing that, right? If I see subscribe versus buy, how many games do I subscribe to? Next to zero. In fact, no, zero. So it's like, would I do that? It would probably stop me even from doing it. And half the time for games like that, I buy them later just to kind of have it. I bought The Crew for $5 physically when it was dead just to have it as a collectible. It's like, oh, this is cool. This is a thing that doesn't work anymore. It's a disc, but there's nothing on the so, again, fine. I mean, all of this situation, like, it gets me mad. It gets me fired up because it's like, this is important. It's actually a little startling that for as many people that have made videos on it, and you have some people that are like anti it. I don't understand their freaking problem. Again, maybe it's the whole government thing. Like, we don't want them stepping in. That's cool, I suppose. But at the same time, you need something. We need something to tell these companies, hey, change the language. Hey, do this, do that. Because obviously we're not making enough of an impact with our own personal decisions. I don't know what really needs to change on our end. I mean, like, live service was an era that is like largely going away, but it's still around. And I mean, again, it's really more about the ownership thing. Like, do you own something versus not? And that's the big thing, live service games or not, be damned, whatever. But really, I think we need to have a serious conversation, and more people need to wake up that, like, you own next to none of these games, especially when games are going more and more digital. And it's like 70% digital purchases versus like 30% physical. It might actually be worse than that. Like, we're going towards that. And it's not slowing down. In fact, it's only escalating. Like, literally, we are at a point of no return, to the point that, again, if we can just simply have a government say, hey, Ubisoft, all you need to do, it's not even that drastic. You don't need to keep The Crew online forever. Now, again, we can talk about that separately, but it's like, hey, all you have to do is make it very, very clear that this game could have an expiration date. You make that clear. I mean, that's a big thing too, right? And how often do we really get that? When you buy a game, don't you think that would scare people off too? You buy a game, and in the description or like in big bold letters, it says, hey, at any point we can pull this game. This game is not going to last forever. We will eventually shut this game down. The funny thing is, all of these games will be shut down one day. That's and that's something I don't think most people think about. And again, I'm not saying that has to change your decision. Like, that's something where I'm very, you make your own decisions. I totally respect that. And that's my moral ground. Like, that's really what I stand on. That's cool. Okay. You can make that decision. I might not agree with that decision, but you can make it. But again, like, do you know how much that would scare people off? If you wrote, literally, for anybody that can't read or you're just not thinking about it, you read, hey, highly likely in 10 years we're going to pull this thing. Now, obviously, the language has to be kind of solidified, but in reality, all of these games one day will be gone. Like, and I know people bring up, like, I've seen a lot of the World of Warcraft stuff. Even a game like that, like, okay, 30, 40 years from now, like, do we really expect it to still go? Maybe. There's some games that maybe are destined to go on forever, but most, 95% of these games, I always talk about that PS3 era with the game and Xbox 360, all those games that kind of have the multiplayer thrown in. I mean, that's kind of even like a smaller battle where, like, that's part of the game, and it's not worth getting super, super upset about that, because it's like, well, at least you can still play it, but just not the multiplayer. That is still a weakness. But what about games that the entirety of the game is relying on that, when you cannot play the game anymore because they took that off? And even, I love Friday the 13th. I think that's a great game, messy game, but still good. That game has a pretty atrocious, single player bot type mode, very much a throw-in, and it's like, okay, well, technically, when they do take, which I think they already did, when that thing's taken offline, you can still play it. Now, you're playing, I would argue, 5% of the game and the worst version of the game you can do, but you can still play it. So, like, do they get away with it? Again, I would like to go for the extreme. I would like to go for refunds. I would like to go for you need to keep the game online forever. I would go for you need to create offline modes. I do think it's fair that you push. Push as far as you can, because the thing is, they are pushing as far as they can till we don't actually own it. Why don't we push as far as we can to say, hey, I don't care if servers are expensive. You keep that game online for 99 years. And I know that's unrealistic, but they're unrealistic. It's not even unrealistic. It's something that should be unrealistic, but it's happening anyway, right? It's like, okay, well, keeping the game alive, Alex, for 50 years is crazy. How about you not actually owning the thing that you bought? Is that crazy? Because that's what we've been doing for like 10 years, right? So it's like, push as far as you can. And that's not really what we're doing here, but at least it's a start. I would like to go further. I would like to go, hey, after The Crew gets shut down 12 years later, you refund it. You cannot play that game anymore. more. Now, yeah, I spent $5 on it. I don't really know the legality, how that would all work. But for those people that bought it day one, actually, I did buy the Crew day one. And I think I just gave it to GameStop for credit or whatever. I did own it. I did play it the first day, and I just didn't really gel. Got it again just to have as a collectible, right? But it's like, okay, how do you make that square? Again, like that obviously can have some problems, I assume. But I mean, again, push, full refund. I bought Knockout City for $40 or whatever it was. You took it offline after 2 years. Did I subscribe to it or did I buy it? I bought it, but all those terms of service and all that stuff really tells you that you're renting it. So they got you there. They got me there, right, with their legality. But hey, change the terminology. Make it more transparent. I mean, we knew this. I knew this, right? It's like when I buy Knockout City, when you buy X or Y game, you should know what you're getting. Most people don't, and that's, it's whatever. But I mean, let's make it a little bit more clear, and let's make it just better for us. I don't know. We're the ones buying it. I think developers that are like pretty sensible too would understand that. Again, you push for the most extreme, and you probably come out somewhere in the middle, right? Again, you really come out somewhere with the stop killing games thing. Just change the terminology, make it clear you can take the game offline. That would scare people off. And also, if it doesn't, you're at least being transparent. You know what I mean? Then we can whine and complain all we want, but we can say, hey, there's still people that are doing it after they put that on there. Like that, that's fine. That's fine. People will still make their decisions as they should, as it should be. So you can make it more clear. You can change it from buying to subscribing, whatever. You can do all of those things, smaller things, and that would definitely be a step in the right direction. So sign it if you're able to sign it, spread it around if you're able to spread it around. But it should, I mean, I think with all of the talk around it, I think it's almost at 800,000 signatures. It needs to get to 1 million. I'm not super shocked people going out of their way. Like, even I don't like videos, hit the like button on videos that I watch, or leave a comment, and those are simple things. How about taking it to a petition, right, to sign or whatever? That takes a little bit more work. I do get it, but I mean, come on, just if you're a citizen, sign the thing. Let's get it to 1 million, and let's start these conversations. And really, it's not even, again, like it's not even guaranteed to do anything in the first place. Secondly, it's not even guaranteed to do anything in the U.S. for sure. But again, I feel like you do something in one place, a pretty sizable place, and the ramifications should start to seep through everywhere else. Hopefully, optimistic thinking. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.